You know, when men talk in their sleep, they may say anything, but their words are not governed by faith or reason. Their words are incoherent now, Greatheart said, as he pointed to the sleeping men, as they were between the time they left on pilgrimage and sitting down here. The harm of it is, when thoughtless, unobserving people go on pilgrimage, the odds are 20 to 1 that they end up like this. For this enchanted ground is one of the last refuges the enemy has to use against pilgrims. As you see, it is strategically located almost at the end of the way to be most advantageous against us. For the enemy thinks, when will these fools be most ready to sit down? It is when they are weary. And when are they most likely to be weary? It is when they are almost at their journey's end. Therefore I say the enchanted ground is placed so near to the Beulah land, so that it is near the end of their race. Therefore, let pilgrims be attentive and observant, or what has happened to these men here will happen to them, and none can awaken them. The pilgrims desired to go continue on their journey, and with trembling asked their guide to light a lantern, so they might travel the rest of their way with the help of the light. So he lit the lantern, and it helped them to see the rest of the way, even though the darkness was very great. So we have the prophetic word made more sure, to which you do well to pay attention as to a lamp shining in a dark place, until the day dawns and the morning star arises in your hearts. 2nd Peter chapter 1 verse 19. But the children began to grow very weary, and they cried out to him who loves pilgrims, and asked him to make their way more comfortable. When they walked a little further, a wind arose that drove away the foggy mist, and the air cleared. They could see that they were at the edge of the enchanted ground, and that they were within the way, walking where they should. Plus now they could see one another better. When they were almost at the end of this ground, the continuous sound of a voice could be heard just ahead of them, and it raised much concern. They went on and looked for the source, and they found a man upon his knees with hands and eyes lifted up. They thought he was speaking earnestly to the one who was above, but as they drew closer, they realized they could not make out what he said. So they tiptoed softly until he had finished. When the man had finished, he got up and began to run toward the celestial city. Then Greatheart called after him, saying, "Hello, friend, may we accompany you? That is, if you are going to the celestial city, as I suppose." The man stopped and waited for them to catch up with him. But as soon as Mr. Honest saw him, he said, "I know this man." Valiant for Truth said, "Please tell me, who is he?" "He is someone who comes from the area where I used to live," Mr. Honest said. "His name is STANDFAST. He is certainly a proper and good pilgrim." So they came up to one another, and STANDFAST said to Old Honest, "Hello, Father Honest. Is that you?" "Yes," he said, "it is me. I'm so happy to see you here," Mr. STANDFAST said, "that I have found you on this road. "And I am just as glad I saw you on your knees," Honest said. Standfast blushed and said, "You saw me?" Honest nodded, "Yes, I did, and the sight made my heart glad." "Why, what did you think?" Standfast asked. "Think?" said Old Honest. "What could I think? I thought we had met up with an honest man on the road, and should join his company as we travel." "It would have been wrong if you had thought anything else," Standfast said. "How happy I am! But I confess that I am not always behaving as I should, and I know that I am the one responsible." "You speak the truth," Honest said. "But your fear further confirms to me that things are right between the Prince of Pilgrims and your soul. For he says, 'Blessed is the man that fears God always.'" Proverbs chapter 28, verse 14. "Please tell us for why you were down on your knees just now, brother," Valiant for Truth said. "Was it due to some special tenderness of heart, or did it have to do with a promise or oath?" Standfast said, "As you can see, we were upon the enchanted ground, and as I was going along, I thought to myself about how dangerous that part of the road was, and how many had come this far on pilgrimage who had been stopped here and destroyed. I also thought about the manner of the death with which this place destroys men. Those who die here don't die from a violent disease. In fact, the death which they die is not heavy or burdensome to them, for he who dies in his sleep begins that journey with desire and pleasure, and submits to the will of that disease." Honest interrupted, "Did you see the two men asleep in the arbor?" Yes, I saw Heedless and Too Bold there, and for all I know they will lie there till they rot. The memory of the righteous is blessed, but the name of the wicked will rot." Proverbs chapter 10, verse 7. But let me go on with my tale. As I was thinking about all this, I saw one woman dressed in old but very pleasing attire. She presented herself to me and offered me three things, that is to say, her body, her purse, and her bed. Now the truth is, I was weary and sleepy, and I had no money. I think perhaps the witch knew that. Well, I rejected her offer time after time, but she ignored my resistance and smiled. Then I began to grow angry, but that didn't matter to her at all. She made the same offers again and said, if I would be ruled by her, she would make me great and happy. She said, "For I am the mistress of the world, and men are made happy by me." I asked her name, and she told me it was Madam Bubble. This set me even further from her, but she still followed me with the same enticements. Then, as you saw, I took to my knees, and with hands lifted up and cries, I prayed to him who said he would help. So just as you came up, the woman went her way. Then I continued to give thanks for my great deliverance, for I believe her intentions were no good, and that she sought to make stop my journey. So